A judge has decided to throw out the conviction of a protester who had the audacity to laugh during Jeff Sessions' Senate confirmation hearing. Now, during his Senate confirmation hearing, there were a number of protesters present, and at one point, a woman by the name of Desiree Fairooz snickered or laughed after someone made a positive comment about Jeff Sessions. So let me give you the details on that. Fairooz was taken into custody during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing in January after she laughed when Senator Richard Shelby from Alabama claimed Sessions had a clear and well-documented record of treating all Americans equally under the law. So he says that. She laughs, and then the authorities immediately begin to take her out, like arrest her. And her reaction as they were arresting her was part of the reason why the jury found her guilty of disorderly conduct. So let's take a look at the video, and then I'll fill you in on what happened next.
Sessions, and to offer my support.
Why am I being taken out of here? This man is evil. You're evil. Do not vote for Jeff Sessions. I was gonna be quiet. Now you're gonna have me arrested? For what? For what? He said something ridiculous. His voting record is evil. Why am I being arrested?
Get him, girl. Anyway, so fast forward to today, a D.C. judge has tossed out a jury's conviction of the protester who laughed during the Senate confirmation hearing, finding that the government had improperly argued during the trial that her laughter was enough to merit a guilty verdict. And the judge says, no, her laughter is not enough to merit a guilty verdict. Now, the prosecutors are saying it's not just the laughter, though, it's the way that she behaved as she was being taken out. And so it's likely that she will face a retrial.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
look, Code Pink is brave. They go and they dress up in those outfits, and sometimes they do disrupt events. The one I remember, there's a million instances of it, but when they were chasing Donald Rumsfeld around in a place, I think he was attending an event, and kept saying war criminal, war criminal. And I know that some Americans look at that and go, oh, that's too much, that seems rude, right? On the other hand, I mean, how many civilians died because of what Donald Rumsfeld did? So being rude to him may be the least you could do. And so I admire their courage in being able to risk arrest, to say sometimes what should be said to people that others don't have the courage to say. I'm glad somebody called Donald Rumsfeld a war criminal and got attention for it. But in this case, like she said there, she's like, I wasn't gonna say anything. All I did was laugh when you said he has a great record in treating all Americans equal. Right. And that is a laughable proposition if you know Jeff Sessions' record.
Yeah.
So he said that, about the Klan, I used to like them until I heard they smoke pot. So,
wow.
Even if you think that's a joke, like joking around while an African-American colleague is there about how much you like the Klan, I mean, and then he used to call that same guy boy, and there's a whole laundry list of things that Jeff Sessions did, let alone what he prosecuted and didn't prosecute. And so I think you're allowed to laugh at that, and if laughing is a crime now in America, we're in a deep state of trouble.
But
so the judge made the right call.
I mean, we need to maintain decorum, right? And that was again brought up, which drives me nuts. It's just like the issue of the dress code in the House and how, we need to maintain decorum. Like as these lawmakers are screwing over the American people left and right. To hell with your decorum, right? Yeah, and by the way, she had like a reflex reaction to what happened.
Everybody was laughing during this hearing because it was ridiculous. I was laughing at everyone who got up there and was like, he's a great person. One of the guys was like, he had like his 4 token black people up there testifying about how great he was because they'd had meals over Dairy Queen. It's like, I don't trust you if you eat at Dairy Queen. But
no, wait a minute, those are fighting words.
They are, and I'm willing to fight over that.
Can you get a sense that I eat at Dairy Queen?
Oh, we make way better decisions, I think. But you can't incite violent action and then get mad when people respond the same way, right? You're yanking her out of the meeting. She's supposed to just comply. Like that notion of compliance is just problematic as it's executed by police in general. So I have a problem with that.
So that's a great point about what the judge is saying. It's like you started the problem in the first place. Like what is often discounted as state violence. So that often happens in war situations, but in this case, you're physically removing someone from the premises and you're doing it in the wrong way. So when she doesn't have a perfect reaction to it, you can't hold that against her. So like, don't waste more taxpayer resources trying to bring this woman back into court. Come on, that's
let it go.
Preposterous. So again, I admire her courage, and I'm glad that she at least laughed in their face at that proposition. Watch the Young Turks commercial free. Download it or stream it. Watch it any way you like at tytnetwork.com/join.